What up, though, boxing fans? Had to come on with a little bit of bite down boxing. It's kind of snuck up on me. I did not realize that the heavyweight clash between the UK's Anthony Joshua, two-time heavyweight champion, unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, and boxing newcomer Francis Ngannou. I didn't realize that it was this week, and then more specifically tomorrow night. It's a Friday night fight. Um, so it just popped up that damn, it's going down. I don't have a lot of interest in this fight. It's kind of maybe it's an indictment on boxing that a heavyweight, I mean that any fighter, a person can come over from an MMA background, now being on the PFL roster, I believe, with no appearances for the PFL at this point, I don't think. But that an MMA guy can come over, have a fight against the reigning lineal heavyweight champion in Tyson Fury, score a knockdown, and then lose the fight by decision, and then pop up as a top 50, top 25 heavyweight, and then get a second fight with someone with the status of Joshua. Hey, I don't make these rules. This is what the game gives us. I really don't believe that Ngannou has a great chance. And I know MMA fans, and maybe even some, he's Nigerian, whatever. No disrespect to that brother's background or whatever, but there's nationalism in boxing, and his hometown, homeland fans believe strongly in him, and we never know what we're getting with AJ. And depends on how you value the effort and the execution, the performance that you saw against Otto Wallin a few months ago or a couple months ago or whatever. The thing is, for Ngannou, there's no surprise factor this time. Maybe Tyson Fury took him a little lightly. Maybe, we all got trolled with the different videos that surfaced, the training videos that surfaced from Ngannou and Tyson. Maybe the dude is not a half bad boxer, maybe. But I foresee Joshua taking the man out. I really do. And actually, I enjoyed seeing Joshua. Maybe the familiarity with Wallin allowed him to fight as freely as he fought and be aggressive and force the issue and create openings and batter Wallin. We hadn't seen that. Maybe he wasn't scared of Wallin's power. I just think all in all, when AJ has a good script to follow, and now that he's paired up with Davison, I guess the Derrick James experiment is over with completely. When he has a good script to follow and he's not fighting someone who there's a strong belief can just has major advantages against him. And Ngannou might have good power. He may. And he may have awesome power in MMA, but it's a lot more factors involved than just having a heavy hand or a strong punch. You got to have a delivery system. You got to have a strategy and an execution and all. You got to have some different things to set that up and make that happen in boxing. And I just don't think AJ is that bad of a boxer, and I think he can follow a script. And there's multiple paths to AJ getting a victory here, if it's not a knockout. So the thing that may get me in on this fight is the price point. I didn't know what it was. I just went online and saw that it was $39.99, and then you get and then purchasers or buyers of it, you get a free month of the zone. I didn't look into the future to see what other fights are coming up to see if I'm really getting any value out of a month worth of the zone uh subscription or access to the zone. And off the top of my head, I can't think of too many big name fights that are on the calendar at the moment. But I am really, so that's what's swaying me to buy the fight. $40. I'd been saying to myself, if the PBC in particular would have given me an a la carte option to just buy the main event for some of their fights, or possibly the co-main and main event, if I could pay $40 to $45 instead of the whole 75 or 80 or whatever they charge, maybe I would have been in to just see the main event. But based on what I got going on and how I value my money, and we're all fighting inflation, $75 for a fight, just like, for example, for Rolly, I know Rolly Romero is a world champion, but taking on Isak Cruz as a co-main event, that really doesn't do anything for me. That's not a that's not a great selling point for me. Not with a main event of damn, I keep wanting to call him his father, Tim Tszyu, and a highly inactive mid-30s making his debut as super welterweight Keith Thurman. That's just not a big selling point for me. So shout out to the zone for the price point. The other thing that makes it compelling and intriguing and might get my money is the fact that I do want to see what's next for Joseph Parker in fighting, who he's fought lately and being active, and then, getting the upset. I picked Parker to win that fight, by the way. Well, I ain't gonna say I picked him as much as I thought he could do I thought he could do what he did, and he did it. And I thought Deontay Wilder was where he was at, where he showed us where he was at with his performance that night. So with him taking that and then coming back, and your next option is to face Zhilei Zhang, a guy who's making a lot of noise and probably deserves a heavyweight title fight at this point. Yeah, I want to see what's next for Parker. I'm pretty sure I like Zhang in the matchup. I like Zhang to get the victory, honestly. Stoppage or decision, I'm not really sure. I haven't thought about it that hard, but I lean towards Zhang getting the victory. The stoppage to, damn, I didn't realize he had these other these bounce back fights after Joe Joyce. Yeah. But that's, I respect a guy who's taking on tough challenges and taking the fight that's being presented to him and going about his business. So with him taking on Wilder and getting the upset when the Wilder Joshua fight was out there, blowing that up, and now coming in here, your next assignment is Zhilei Zhang, and you take him on, I can respect that. So I think that's a pretty decent fight. What's my time? 9 minutes. I also see, Ray Vargas on here, WC World Featherweight Championship. I'm not that familiar with Nick Ball. That doesn't sound like that's again decent value for $40. Israel Madrimov against Magomed Kurbanov, WBA World Super Welterweight title, vacant title. So it's a world championship fight, and Madrimov was doing some. He was going places a couple of years ago. Kurbanov is 25-0. Not a bad fight again for $40. The rest of these names on here, Jack McGann, Justice Honey, Andriy Novitsky against Juan Torre. Not a lot to work with on here, other than Vargas and Madrimov, and then Jean Parker. So again, Saudi Arabia is the cheat code right now. And I would imagine that's why I haven't seen a price point for Zoo and Thurman just yet. I'm guessing it's no less than $64.99, probably $74.99. I really don't see that card performing all that well in terms of the buy rate. Wishing them well. With Amazon getting involved with boxing, I'd like it to go well. I just don't see how it can. Even Fundor and Boachuk are also on that undercard. Maybe not a horrible fight. Again, I just don't really have any interest in Romero and Isaac Cruz. That's a good Saturday night championship boxing main event, I guess. We'll see. But yeah, I don't see that being a super success like Amazon Prime's venture into NFL broadcasts. I don't see it blowing. And so anyway, I won't beat a dead horse or whatever, but I won't continue to belabor that point, and I won't continue to expect people to understand my focus on value. But I see that DAZN and Matchroom, they can pull this fight off with the $40 price point because Saudi Arabia is taking care of the costs. It's a no-lose situation for Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. So us fans win if you care about Zhang and Parker. And whatever interest you have in AJ. And lastly, I'll just say this, that to get mad at AJ for taking this fight, I don't see where we can hold his feet to the fire. He doesn't have a title. He's not holding up any titles. He's kind of just biding his time, waiting for something to happen with the belts, whether they're all whatever happens. Is there a rematch between Fury and Usyk? Is there some step aside opportunity if Fury wins and they can make Fury Joshua if Joshua gets past Ngannou? I don't know. If Fury won, would he relinquish all but one of the belts? And then there's 3 belts for everybody, to get in line for or fight for position to be able to contend for the belts in a vacant title bout with somebody. We'll see. But yeah, I can't really complain about Joshua taking advantage of a chance to stay active and to kind of just like being a holding pattern. If Fury and Usyk stayed on track, we'd have something else to see what's next. What's the path forward? That was postponed because of the Fury's eye injury that was sustained in training camp or whatever and caused the postponement. So, but again, if you do have a name or there is interest for you where the Saudis bring you over and host a fight, I can't get mad at you for having that type of, for having that move to make. So anyway, let me get on out of here. $40 tomorrow night. I don't have a start time. with a Friday night, like how many of us are going to be off work, and I see all of that stuff being an issue. But again, I think I'm in. By the way, big shout out to Raymond Ford, one of the U.S. fighters who started his career with Eddie Hearn in Matchroom Boxing USA. And out of all of those guys, I can't even think of their names at this point. Some of them East Coast guys, I can't even think of the kid with White Chocolate or Black Thunder, White Thunder, whatever his name was, with the swooshy hairstyle. You know, he's no longer in the picture. Mishat, I can't even think of my man's Rashad. I can't even think of his name. He's no longer. Anyway, it's just kind of like at this part, Mark Castro was another guy. Aaron Apone or something, you know. All of it at this point is like Ray Ford and Diego Pacheco. I guess also Mo Williams is still out there, I guess. But anyway, he's the first guy that homegrown by Matchroom Boxing and Eddie Hearn to get to a world title fight with his victory last weekend on ESPN. Shout out for him getting a walk-off, come from behind knockout with 7 seconds left to become a world champion for the first time. Shout out to Coach Anthony on guiding the young man through that. That was one of the smaller big moments for boxing. But anyway, my name is Wood. Bite Down Boxing. Don't let them count you out.